Hello and welcome to the Philippines. How to get prescription medicine overseas? That is a question several people have asked me over the last few years, and I've had a number of people comment on different videos that I've done. I've done some research. Let's narrow that down a little bit. Let's narrow it down to Southeast Asia, and I would be interesting to hear from many of you in the comments who've traveled to Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, what your experience has been there. Each country has different laws and requirements and regulations, as does the Philippines. And I I don't take any prescription medication. A couple times I've had antibiotics here. I was in Vietnam for a few weeks, and I was able to go to a pharmacy, get some antibiotics without a prescription. And I've talked to a number of expats here in the Philippines, and some of them say they can just go into a pharmacy, show they don't have their prescription, show their bottle, what it is with their name on it, and get a refill of that. I've had people ask me if they can, who are taking the stronger pain medication with codeine in it, for instance, whether they can get it here. And what I'm hoping to get, I've done quite a bit of research. A lot of the information on the internet either doesn't have a date or it's dated. It's rather old information. So I'm hoping to get a lot of information from other expats, tourists, people who have been to these countries, had experience. What is available in the Philippines? What drugs that you're taking, the more restricted drugs, are you able to get them with a prescription, written prescription from a doctor in the U.S. or from Europe or Australia, New Zealand, wherever? Are you needing to go to a doctor here to get a new prescription written? And can you find a pharmacy that has those drugs? I've got a friend who wanted to get some sleeping pills, for instance. He had insomnia for quite bad here. And went to one doctor, got a prescription, went to the pharmacy. Pharmacy said that doctor doesn't have the proper authority to write prescriptions for that drug. Went back to another doctor, got a new prescription for sleeping pills, and I think took it to about 7 different pharmacies, including pharmacies at a couple different hospitals, before he finally found a pharmacy that had that particular drug, the sleeping pill. I'm going to show you some information I found online from a U.S. site, and I'm also going to, here a little bit later, I'm going to give you some information. I mentioned it in a previous video. I'm going to give you more specific information here in the Philippines, or in Cebu City in particular, about getting vaccinations, having it done. Somebody come to your home to give you vaccinations for flu, shingles, and or pneumonia. I think they might offer more than that as well. Now, some of you have told me that you have drugs shipped to you can get like 90-day supply. I think like the VA Center pharmacy in Manila for former U.S. military people. They can get a 90-day supply of drugs, I think. And I think they can ship them around to the Philippines. Is that available in other countries? I think there are a number of people, a few people have mentioned to me that they have either friends or companies from other countries that ship them like a 90-day supply at a time. I think you're allowed, the Philippine government allows you to bring in, you can bring in the prescription drugs that you need for your stay in the Philippines. And you should bring in enough to sustain you during your stay. But now, if you're an expat and that's a long stay, that's almost impossible to do. A lot of people like to get, there are a couple drug companies that are cheaper out of Canada. And I believe I went to one of those websites, I believe that they will ship all over the world. Are there restrictions in getting those types of drugs, certain drugs into the Philippines, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam? You seasoned travelers out there, please comment. Please let me know what your experiences are. I brought quite a few supplements, herbal things like hawthorn, multivitamins when I came back the second time because they're rather expensive, hard to find here, and rather expensive when you find them. So I brought them from the USA. I thought I might be asked about them, but I never was. I have read many comments on blog posts about the subject, and some of them are quite dated. But pretty much everybody is saying that they didn't have any trouble. They didn't have any trouble coming through customs in the various countries. Sure, there are those situations, those cases where you could have trouble. So it's recommended that you carry your prescription, recommended that you carry the drugs in the original prescription bottle, although I'll show you some information that says you don't have to do that. It's important in the U.S. anyway that you declare, if you're bringing those types of medicines and drugs, that you declare it, because they may have some questions for you. They may put the items through x-rays, and if you don't want them to go through x-rays, you need to let them know ahead of time. I'm hoping to get a lot of input from those of you who have traveled, had experience with this, and maybe I'll do an updated video as I get more and more information. Keep in mind, every country and each airline, in fact, may have their own little regulations on what they allow to bring on their planes as well, so you need to be aware of that. And jump over here to the TSA Gov Travel Security Screening. What can I bring site over here, medical. And let's run down here. They have carry-on bags and check bags, casts, contact lens solutions, and a lot of this is less than 100 milliliter or 3.4 ounces. That's on liquids generally is the limit. Crutches, EpiPens, external medical devices. You have to declare some of this stuff. There again, eye drops, less than 100 milliliters, inhalers, and get over here real quickly. Hot cold packs, insulin pumps, insulin supplies, life vests. That's nice. You can carry your own life vest. Liquid medications, 100 milliliters or less. Liquid vitamins, 100 milliliters or less. You can check them in your bags. Medical marijuana. Better not bring it to the Philippines or many other countries. Personal oxygen. Some of this stuff is at the subject to the TSA officer's discretion. You need to declare some of this stuff, so it's good to have it packaged separately. Medications liquid, special instructions. Allows larger amounts, medically necessary liquids, gels, aerosols in reasonable quantities. You must declare them. That's the important key. You don't declare them and they find them. It could be an issue. Medications, carry-on bags, and in your check bags. Nitroglycerin pills, pill cutter, oxygen concentrators, special instructions there. Prosthetics, supplements, yes, supports, thermometer, and go to page 4 here. Unused syringes, special instructions. They have to be, I think they have to be declared, these items, and stored properly. Vitamins, yes, walker's wheelchair. It's not necessary to present your medication to or notify an officer about any medication you are traveling with unless it is in liquid form. See the next bullet. Medication in liquid form is allowed in carry-on bags in excess of 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters, in reasonable quantities for the flight. It is not necessary to place medically required liquids in a zip-top bag. However, you must tell the officer that you have medically necessary liquids at the start of the screening checkpoint process. It may be subject to additional screening, including possibly asking you to open. You can bring your medication or pill in a pill or solid form in unlimited amounts as long as it is screened. You can travel with your medication in both carry-on and checked baggage. Highly recommended you place these items in your carry-on in the event that you need immediate access. TSA does not require passengers to have medications in prescription bottles, but states have individual laws regarding the labeling of prescription medication with which passengers need to comply. So there again, each state could have its, and each airline. That's interesting. I would think that prescription medication would have to be in prescription bottles. Would be a good idea, I think. Medication is usually screened by x-ray. However, if the passenger does not want a medication x-rayed, he or she may ask for a visual inspection instead. This request must be made before any items are sent through the x-ray tunnel, obviously. Nitroglycerin tablets and spray used to treat episodes of angina are permitted and have never been prohibited. The rules for medicines not to be confused with the rules for other liquids. That 3-ounce containers or smaller, placed in 1 quart clear plastic bag, 1 bag per suitcase, I think, or traveler. So here is some information I received in an email, and it has to do with vaccinations for a number of different things. There is go down here, there is a clinic here in town. It's called My Health Clinic, and in Robinson's Galleria Mall. Of course, during the quarantine, it's been closed much of that time. But anyway, they offer a number of vaccinations, and they can even come and do that in your home. I'm not sure how far out they will travel to do that, but anyway, I wanted to put this information out there. And yeah, they offer shingles, pneumonia, and flu vaccinations administered at your home. So I have some additional information that might be interested, many of you might be interested in. So I'll just scroll down here, and you can read through some of that. My understanding is that you will not find this in every clinic, so it can be a bit rare, a bit difficult to find. We apparently have it available here, so it depends on what the demand is after I put this video up. I would be very interested to hear from those of you. I know a couple people who have had shingles, and it apparently is a very, very painful experience. And anyway, the information that you have here, this vaccine, even if you've already had shingles, because you can get the disease more than once, your risk of shingles complication increases as you age. You need 2 doses of this vaccine. The second dose 2 to 6 months after you get the first dose. This Shingrix 2-part vaccine is more than 85% effective for those over the age of 70. Higher percentage for those under the age of 70. The old single shot was less than 35% effective for those over 70. They say both these shingle vaccinations are effective for at least 4 years, and most likely a lot longer. And then the pneumonia vaccination. I know several people here in the Philippines, expats, who have had pneumonia. One of my friends was in the hospital for, I think, 11 days, and even after that, took him a month or 2 to recover from that. Here's the contact information. Philippine number, of course. I'm not sure how far out they will go. I'm not sure what the costs are. And I'm sure the farther out that you live, the more that it would cost. Anyway, I'd like to get some feedback from all of you who had the various different types of vaccinations in your home country or here in the Philippines, what your experience was, what your costs were. Did you have any unpleasant experiences, reactions, those types of things? Here's a little bit of information from the CDC about shingles, kind of interesting and worth checking out anyway. So I'm really looking for a lot of input, a lot of information from many of you out there who have had experience, so you can help the other people. There's so many people out here who are wondering about what's available, what the issues are in getting prescription drugs either here or having them shipped in. So please comment. Let us all know what your experiences are. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.